Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well. I hope that everyone out there is having an absolutely fantastic day and that you're all doing well. Do not forget to follow me on social media. There are links beneath the video in the box below, and without any further ado, let's jump right into it. I would say the words that things are heating up, but I think that they've been quite warm for a while now. The expectations for October are probably, if I can say this correctly, far more dramatic than they were for September, just simply based off of the idea of as we move forward through this year, we're expecting higher prices, more ETF approvals. We're expecting potentially November and December to also hold a significant part of the cryptocurrency market's upward movements. Companies have not in any way, shape, or form slowed down their levels of acquisition, which I think we definitely could have foreseen. If you somehow missed the last 15 or so videos, it has gotten a little bit more dramatic. We have had a large number of Japanese companies who've announced their foray into the space. We've had other companies who have already begun to acquire Bitcoin and Ether, announcing brand new efforts to basically expand in a number of unforeseen ways as they try to accumulate their best, to accumulate as much Bitcoin as they possibly can. So this will then, of course, come as no surprise, as no matter where you look, no matter where you turn, these companies are probably not going to stop anytime soon. We have a new company, as far as I understand, because this one also doesn't sound familiar. We had a few a week ago. I've never heard. And also, the news was those companies, I believe, were in Thailand. One was in, I want to say Indonesia, but that also feels incorrect. Anyway, a lot of other different places around the world have begun to announce, and these companies are popping up, and sometimes the names just don't sound familiar. I don't remember saying this one. I feel like I would have made a joke in some sort of way. This is a company called Capital B. Yeah, a little bit on the nose, if you will. They're apparently announcing that they are going full steam ahead with everything Bitcoin, and I guess one could have assumed with a name like Capital B that was going to happen. According to the firm, the funds that they are raising will be used to expand treasury operations, advance their institutionalization phase, and continue executing its business strategy centered on Bitcoin holdings. We have kind of leaped a little bit forward from companies who were previously just announcing that they were only buying Bitcoin. Now there's a whole bunch of business to it, if that makes any sense, with people creating products and things that investors can use to make more money, and the fees that they get from said things, they will then be using to also buy up more Bitcoin. The company stated that its approach emphasizes Bitcoin yield, capital markets expertise, and long-term accumulation. Long-term being a very central part of all of this, as we have gone over before. A large number of people who are in crypto, this is usually their first time investing, and the idea of a long-term investment usually doesn't make sense. And I know some of you are like, we understand English. No. You have to, when you come from nothing and you have nothing, the idea of simply holding on to money doesn't make sense to you. I told you how I grew up and I had nothing. The idea of simply buying something and looking at it made absolutely no sense to me. So when a lot of people get into crypto, it is normally their first time holding money, having a large sum of money. I've had friends who've gotten into crypto. The prices went up. Their wallet said they had $74,000 worth of crypto. And they were asking me if they should sell. And I said, why would you sell? They said, well, to get the money. And then I said, what would you do with the money? They said, I don't know, invest it. I said, you have invested it. It's in an investment. So when we see these companies constantly announcing they plan on buying Bitcoin and holding it forever, it usually comes as a shock to a lot of people, as we've gone over several times. A number of people within crypto, is normally, usually within crypto, when prices go high, they kind of dip, like they themselves leave. And then they wonder why these other companies and institutions and other people within the space have gotten so rich. It's about accumulating for the long term and holding. And now as we continue to talk about yield and getting like passive income from these assets, it's only going to become more important. Capital B describes itself as Europe's first publicly listed Bitcoin treasury company. I feel like there was definitely another one. Hello? Okay. I don't know if you saw that as well. The whole screen just went black. I have a new computer. It is it's been interesting. I don't know why computers don't just do what they should normally do, but for some reason this one finds it appropriate to shut off and restart and do this, and this happens and I'm typing something and then that disappears and this. So, welcome to the future. What were we saying? I feel like there was just another company recently who also was in Europe, who also announced that they themselves were also the first Bitcoin treasury company. I think everyone wants to be first. It's ridiculous to try and race each other. It literally just make money. Just do what you need to do. It doesn't matter if you're first or 15th. If you come in, 17th in the line of creation, you can still become the number one company holding the most. But that's something else. The financing round that they're running includes participation from strategic investors. The Blockstream CEO Adam Back in its release, Capital B indicated that the additional capital will help it pursue the goals outlined in its roadmap. I don't know why it's not here anywhere. They're trying to raise 5 million euros for the first batch of Bitcoin, or rather the additional batch, because apparently they've purchased some before, which is why I was saying I don't remember this company. Especially if they're talking about being the first one doing it, them trying to raise more money to increase their treasury is also like, okay, this was quite popular news. I wasn't exactly sure why. I'm a bit taken aback simply because normally if a company outside of the States, except for Metaplanet, announces that they're going to do something with Bitcoin, it typically does not make extremely popular news. I don't know. I was going to say maybe because of the name Capital B, like what's the other guy? Plan B. But I was like, no, that wouldn't. I would hope that this didn't become popular news because they sound relatively similar. But yeah, there are also tons. No, there's 3 other companies in Paris already earlier this year, spring, announced that they were creating some kind of a Bitcoin reserve. One of them is called the blockchain. Wait, hold on. Stop. Hold on. Blockchain Group Paris. Yeah, I'm certain the Blockchain Group announced earlier this year that they were going to be creating their own Bitcoin reserve, and they're also located in France. So I don't know. Maybe there's some kind of maybe this one's more public than the other one. Who the fudge knows? Yeah, another company, another day. This is just the way that things have been going, tying loosely directly into the other topic. A new company has also popped up again. Now, this is usually we get multiple per day. They're a South African investment firm. They're called Altvest Capital Limited. Okay. Has unveiled plans to raise $210 million US to buy Bitcoin. marking it says a bold shift in strategy. Do any of you know why every article referring to crypto has the word bold in it now? I mentioned that a couple of other times before. It's actually quite perplexing, and I don't know where the boot kissing is actually coming from. Earlier in the year, every time a company announced they were going to create a Bitcoin reserve, many articles would have, the word like, hey, this could be a bit risky, or they're doing something that no one else has done before. But a lot of articles now have the term like bold in it, usually multiple times throughout the actual article, discussing like what they're doing. I don't really think, and then this is a personal thing, I don't really think it's bold to invest. I think investing in Bitcoin is quite common at this point. I don't know if it's meant to like signal something, and I mean this all completely. I'm being honest with you here. Like, I don't get it. There was what company was it? This was maybe a month or two ago. Some other company announced that they were going to start buying Bitcoin, and the article was like, this is a miraculously bold, strategic, awesome, bold movement, and I was like, are you friends with them? Like, are they giving you something after you've written this article? It's just really, I don't know. It's always bold now. Everything is a bold market move, bold and awesome. Altvest is planning to raise 210 million US dollars to buy Bitcoin, and they want to rebrand as Africa Bitcoin Corp, or Core, depending on how you pronounce it, Corporation. The firm will hold Bitcoin as a treasury reserve asset similar to cash or gold. Institutional investors can now gain Bitcoin exposure by buying shares in a regulated equity-based structure. That also still is quite annoying to me. Do you remember a couple of years ago, we used to have a lot of news that institutions wanted Bitcoin, but they didn't know how to do it. And I was like, well, Coinbase is a thing, and so is Binance. But apparently, institutional corporation, bold companies, they only want some kind of a securitized form of Bitcoin. And this is why we've seen Bitcoin and Ether and crypto ETFs really taking off. I don't know if it has probably something to do with the tax structure of all of this. There's probably some huge difference between you as a company buying Bitcoin from Coinbase or simply buying it through some other kind of structured thing. And once again, I assume it's definitely for tax reasons. The move positions Altvest as the first listed company in Africa to adopt Bitcoin as its primary treasury reserve asset, according to a report by Bloomberg. Yeah, cool. The other weird part, here's the weirdest of it all. The company is currently valued at $3 million. Now, I know you're probably scratching your head as well, how they're going to try and raise 210 million. That's the same exact thing that Metaplanet did. Metaplanet, I believe it is a hotel company. The same exact thing with the other nail salon. If you missed it, this was 2 weeks ago. There was a nail salon in Japan. They're just a nail salon. They announced that, what is it? I think they're trying to raise like $3 billion. Cool, I guess. Also quite perplexing. But we'll see where this ends up going. Everyone seems to be trying to mimic everyone else. It'll be interesting to see the valuations of these companies over the next couple of years, or if they just all completely pivot. It is interesting, and I can't be the only one who feels this way, to see these companies announcing that they're doing this, basically dropping everything and then buying up tons of Bitcoin, like completely foregoing what your company was doing before. But I guess that's what the future is. That's the second company announcing that they're buying Bitcoin. And yeah, let's move on. Also in news, Gemini, the crypto exchange, the last few weeks, I don't know how they've become so bold and brave, But they've been expanding a lot recently into European markets, and I think we had some Asian market news before. If you didn't get the cynicism behind my tone, it's basically because Gemini before was like a US only brand. They were, only working in the States. They were only working in New York. They kind of shunned everyone and everything else within the industry. I would assume it probably has to do with Binance and Coinbase. Those are the two largest exchanges. Gemini, for about 9 years, has kind of jumped around and didn't really do much and didn't gain favor within the space. So I assume this is why we keep hearing about them expanding, opening new operations, and creating new products for people in other countries. Yes, so Gemini is launching some kind of a new staking venture within the United Kingdom. There we go. It says the move follows the opening of Gemini's first permanent UK office in London and expands access beyond the prior staking pro requirement that UK users stake at least 32 ETH. That's not really a thing anymore. It is a thing, but it isn't. If you want to stake into the Ethereum protocol, I'm not sure if it's been upgraded. Also, who cares, because it is not really a thing. You needed to have 32 Ether yourself to be able to do that. But the problem is the average person doesn't have 32 Ether. Yeah, surprise, right? Most people have half an Ether, maybe 1.5 Ether. The other part of it basically being staking pools tell you that you can use any amount of Ether that you want because it's all pooled together. As long as the initial 32 ETH is there, anything that comes on top of it is, still thumbs up. Gemini says its staking pools have no minimum amount. Yeah, that's how they work. Accrue rewards daily, provide an in-app APR display, and rely on institutional-grade security and custody, with users able to stake via the app's Explore tab or the website's Stake section. If you missed before, a really huge topic of discussion that we've been going over, this was a couple of days ago. Oh gosh, what was it? It was Fidelity. Fidelity talking about tokenized on-chain assets, and I mentioned at great length what's happening now is that we're seeing the advent of daily. So historically, if you have had stocks or dividends, they tended to pay you once every 3 months, and or some would pay you monthly. What we're seeing now is that a lot of chains, when it comes to staking, now pay out daily. So you will witness the transition if we move from a $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 Ether to $25,000 to a $100,000 Ether. A lot of you will begin to see, as you're staking these coins, you will have daily income. That's going to be a complete game changer. And once again, people in the future are going to jump at this. The idea of, if you can find a job paying you once a week, every 2 weeks, or however frequently or infrequent it might be. I think crypto will take off, not entirely because of, but I think this idea of getting money daily is really, really, really strong. Like, imagine your crypto investments that you have right now, do a proper 30, 40, 60x over the next 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. Random number, what have you. Imagine waking up every single day and you see that because of the investments that you made in 2025, that you are essentially getting $280 per day from like staking across multiple chains. That's where this is all leading up to. I'm trying to remind everyone always, because I know that people forget the really important stuff very quickly. Yeah, it wasn't the most popular news, but a lot of Gemini stuff has been popping up. There's been a random sprinkling of what they're doing in this country, and this is now allowed there, and they're doing this, and you can make money with that. Cool. Gemini is not the most exciting company out there, but I think if this benefits crypto holders directly, if all of you are able to benefit from this, I'm not going to knock it. So yeah, I think that's going to do it for this video, everyone. How's everyone doing? Everybody hanging in there? Everyone doing okay? Everyone I don't know. What's everyone up to? I do hope that you've all enjoyed. I do hope you all are having a great day, morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I do hope that it is absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching, listening, liking, commenting, and supporting. And I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.